Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to BCB Live. Sir Rick, producer, Drive Safe Dave, here today on a Tuesday morning with a lot of news going on. Hey, we have another big transaction occurs from Canada as TFI buys out UPS Freight. So we continue to see this year, 2021, already starting with a flurry of purchases, but they're not coming from us. They're coming from these Canadians, eh?
The Canadians, yeah, I guess you could say Canadian investment company, though, right? It's kind of
no, it's not. Well, some of them have been Canadian investment companies, but they are Canadian companies. TFI now, it's the same company that bought out CFI from when CFI was bought out by XPO. These Canadians bought out CFI, now have bought out Overnight. These are huge It's an $800 million transaction. It's 14,000 employees that are now working for a Canadian company. 70% unionized business. A company that lost $420 million, I think, this year in 2020, made $26 million back in 19, made like $75 million in 19 and lost another $28 million in 2018. So a company that struggled in the freight business. And again, when we talk UPS Freight, it's not the brown parcel trucks you see. It's not those airplanes you see out of Louisville, Kentucky. This is the old Overnight company. Yeah. For those of you that have been around for a while, the Overnight LTL company, that's what it is. It's that parcel business, that those palletized business. It's that, Overnight. And when you think about that, Overnight, that goes back a while. They've been around. Those are the same folks that were competing with Yellow, who's still around, Consolidated Freightways, who's no longer around. Those guys have been around for a little while.
Yeah, Isaiah or whatever, they compete with them too, and they compete with Saya. They compete with them. They compete with a bunch of others, and that's competitive business. I mean, that Overnight, wanting your stuff there the next day, that's competitive.
So LTL, boy, how's that business has changed in, say, the last 20 years. It's a very competitive business.
It is.
It's a business that now is so it's they're doing the meat and hooks all over the place. Everything it's not everything, but most of that LTL partial freight now, palletized freight, it's getting there within 1 or 2 days at the latest.
Yeah, they're butting heads all over the country. They got stations set up now, and they've had it for about 10 years, 15 years. Some just butthead stations across the country where the two trailers meet and they drop their pups and then they switch drivers and then they go back. So
yeah, and it's a brutal business. We talk about OS&D, over, short, and damaged. There, you go to any freight dock, and I'm talking LTL dock. They have areas at Consolidated Freightways. When I was there, we had what I considered, it was probably 10 bays of freight. We had no idea where it went. We had no idea. It was just sitting there piling up.
That's
we had people working the OS&D. I mean, it was craziness. So you think about that LTL, some of the funny things about it was, well, at Consolidated Freightways, we didn't want any air in that thing. So if you shipped out a pallet, we would tear that pallet down and put those little pro stickers all over it, and we would find places all over. And so when it got to the receiver or to the next dock, they were expected to do the same thing. And people just,
the packages got lost.
I mean, you're like, I don't know where this one goes. and all of a sudden it goes into that magic bay over there. So the claims are brutal as well on that. Man, the claims, that freight gets touched many times.
And it's sitting over there in the bay and somebody's filing it and nobody knows where it's at. And it's not just your dock, right? Everybody's got a dock that's similar to that situation, right? In the business, right?
Yeah,
Everybody.
It's a tough business. Let me tell you, it's when it comes to trucking, that truckload, that van, that reefer, that one pick, one drop, kind of like what we do. That's the best part of the freight. Okay, that then you get into the flatbeds when you're hauling ambulances and you're losing some of them along the way too. Wonder if that ended up on an OS&D, that flying ambulance. But you have, then you have that one. That's a little bit, it takes a lot more work. You got to chain up. You got to stop every 2 hours. You got to check that part out. And then you have that LTL. And the LTL to me is like fast food business. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's volume.
Yes. It's not like you're going to the steakhouse here where you're making a steak here or there and you're charging a ton of money for that.
3 tacos and a soda.
Yes. I'm talking the Long John Silvers. And if my mom was watching this, she would say, she's still working many 60 hours a week. It's a brutal business for, that just stays busy. And then you go home and you smell like it. It's you wringing out your clothes and it's that Long John Silver's grease coming out. But anyway, that's what I look at that LTL. It is a tough, it's all day. There's a lot of people that's created in these companies. I mean, you have city drivers going out delivering, city drivers picking up, bringing freight back, and it has to get offloaded. And drivers don't like to offload their own freight.
No.
They don't like it. And so you have people unloading it, taking it somewhere, putting it somewhere else to try to get it on a trailer that's got to be delivered somewhere tomorrow.
So you go out to I went to the FedEx Sort Center over here in Dallas, and now they have 2 different types. They have large packages now, and then they have small packages. And those sort facilities those conveyor systems that they've got going on are pretty.
Well, I'm not talking this. So I'm talking pallets. I'm talking.
Well, they've got
freight.
the new ones now.
I got you.
The trampolines are being shipped. I mean, you can't get very many trampolines. I mean, it's a totally different world now. We're shipping everything. You get online, you can order a couch. I mean, they're shipping a couch. I mean, that doesn't actually fit in a pup very well. You can't get very many of those in a pup. So I mean, things change. A mini pool. I mean, you can ship a pool. I mean, that's probably not a small package.
You can actually, if you go on AliExpress, you can buy a house if you want to, like one of those houses that you can put on a lake.
That's coming on LTL freight.
Yeah, that's probably not going through the sort center.
It's not going through the sort center.
Probably not going through the sort center. Hey, in another news, we have another first in politics, right?
Mm-hmm, we do.
What did we have?
We had Pelham. She was the first female Secretary of Treasury ever appointed. Big deal. Secretary of Treasury's really sets the tone, they almost, what's really nice is what they've almost always done is they've set the Treasury Department just a little outside that political, of course she's appointed by the president. Of course they're done, but that kind of sets outside the deal. And it's a big, important post. And it's nice that she's got it. She's going to do a great job. She's been in the business for years. She's been around. I think she's going to be fantastic.
No, I love that. And I love to see, these females getting these positions that are so well deserved. They are capable, and I'm a big push. Listen, I got 3 girls, and I tell them the same thing. You know what? You are, and many females, and it still bothers me. I'm not going to get on a political thing here, but it's a fact. I mean, you still look at the pay scales when you look at in the paper, when you get the pay things, women CEOs, women this are not paid the same as men.
Wow.
So it looks like that we're continue to move as a country. You know what? It's 2021. It's hard to believe that could even be an issue.
Sexism.
Today. Yeah, it's unbelievable. In other breaking news, Budweiser, they will not have a commercial in the 2021 Super Bowl.
Is that first time ever?
First time in 37 years, so I believe ever, right? No.
Close
No,
enough.
55. It's Super Bowl. This is 55.
First time in 37 years, and actually they're also being joined by Coca-Cola and Pepsi in not airing ads over the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of people who are pulling ads. And this is actually the first year that the Super Bowl ads haven't sold out before either. The CBS has not reported their ad space selling out, and usually it's sold out months, even a year in advance.
Probably a year and a half, 2 years. I mean, people want those spots.
Is it still the Pepsi halftime show?
It is.
Yeah, they're still being sponsored, but they're just not putting a commercial up.
Okay, I'm just checking, make sure it's
and
still.
I don't know who that is. Who's singing it? They have commercials, during the last weeks, during the games yesterday, or I'm sorry, on Sunday. They had commercials for sponsorship of Pepsi with the singer, and I looked at him. I still didn't know. Saw him like 4 times. They'd showed him out there like he's getting ready to sing a song. I'm like,
what's his name?
Yeah, I have no idea who you are.
I've heard his song.
I have no idea who you are.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh, he has a song, and he's on Super Bowl. Certainly, he's got more than 8
I don't.
songs.
If he does.
Oh, it's The Weeknd. Yeah, The Weeknd's doing the halftime show. Okay, yeah, he's actually he's got a he's got a big following. He's a pretty well-known artist.
He's got a lot.
We actually, somebody dropped off one of his CDs in here a couple weeks ago, and I haven't gotten around to putting it in here. But yeah, The Weeknd's a pretty big deal.
We got a CD here in the studio.
So okay, I guess he could be legit. I've never heard of it.
Is it autographed? Or?
No, it's not. I don't know who brought this in, but this is like sealed and new.
Probably
So-
Emily out there. She's 18, so probably her.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't put it bad. This album came out like a few years ago. This came out whenever I was in high school, actually. This is I mean, not old by any means, but it came out a while back. And yeah, no, The Weeknd has some good songs. It's definitely a little bit poppier.
Is that the name of the CD, or is that the name of the group?
That's the name of the guy. It's one guy.
Oh, his name's The Weeknd?
Yeah, like Seal, you know?
That's his name. His name.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's not the name of the group. That's his name.
That's his name. No, yeah, he's not a weak guy. He's just The Weeknd.
Huh. The Weeknd or Weekend?
Weekend, like
Gotcha.
it's The Weeknd.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's just a weird name. I mean, when you give, I can't imagine as sitting there and you have a kid. What are we going to name him? Weekend.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think on his birth certificate.
that. I think he named himself that. Honestly, I don't.
Ludicrous.
I don't think Cool Mo D was what his parents named him. I think he pretty much named himself. You know what I'm saying? But
You're telling me LL Cool J is not his real name?
You know what? That dude is so cool that it could be his real name.
It probably could be his real name. I actually don't. I don't know.
I know you have, the great almighty right here. LL Cool J's right here. I mean,
Pretty close.
That dude's pretty cool. So, hey, phrase it pays time. We got Buckle Up Bob Wade. What do we got, Drive Safe?
when it comes to safety, set an example. Don't be one.
One more time, sir.
When it comes to safety, set an example. Don't be one.
Don't be an example.
Don't be one. Don't be
an example.
Don't
that
be
doesn't
an-
even make sense.
That's the phrase that pays, sir. Don't be an example of. I don't know. Don't be one. I don't know. That's.
Man, we're really getting into some rhetorical analysis today.
Boy, he's got his top game. And thanks for that. Drive Safe, Dave. So you just read it. You don't have to believe it.
You know what? I
Don't
do.
be an example. Is that what you tell? Hey, kids, listen. When you go to school, don't be a follower. Don't be an example. Is that what?
Say, set an example, a good example, but don't be a bad example. Maybe.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, buckle up, Bob. Look at him. Got bright green on today. What happened to your Cardinals?
I left it in the car. Forgot. So
I was hoping you'd say I'm washing it.
I rotate them. I have two, so I always
Okay.
keep them clean.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know how you first time Drive Safe Dave didn't know the answer to something. Just a minute ago.
He just didn't even make one up. That's even more amazing.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I was trying. I worked on it. It took me a minute.
Well,
Buckle up, Bob. We got a lot of safety stuff going
We
on.
do.
And I was looking at some of the videos I believe you're going to show. I'm hoping you are, and I got some. I have some notations for those already.
awesome.
So let's see what you got.
Well, I just want to make sure that safety is still first, because I had forgotten about it, but then you brought it up yesterday morning. Drive Safe Dave did, and I was like, can we really call him Drive Safe Dave? Because what's the most important thing at BCB? But yet, he bumped the safety radio show, Safety Struck, for his own personal gain.
Wow.
So can we really call him Drive Safe Dave if he's putting
And
himself ahead of safety?
It's a day late, but we're now starting to see the anger from yesterday that Bob didn't want to show.
Now Bob's thought about it.
Yeah, I was
and he realizes he's still not over it. It's been a week, and he's still not over
You
it.
know what? That's kind of what he felt like the day you took his Bible story from him.
Is it?
His Christmas story.
All right. So it's payback.
Oh, he was so mad when you did that. The same exact thing. You were mad at Buckle Up Bob because he stole your Christmas. Like, you're the only one that can read out of the Bible.
No, I
You
didn't.
know what? Well, how dare you preach?
It
How
wasn't out
dare you
of-
preach the gospel?
I don't think that was it.
I'm sorry, Drive Safe.
It's all right.
You're just having a bad day, and I piled
Turnabout's
on,
fair
didn't I?
play.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, this week we are talking about signs. And so our next one, and we're going to have some videos today in construction zones. What's that?
Tesla?
Tesla?
Is that signs?
No.
Signs,
Three-man.
signs everywhere.
I sent it to you guys today. I said it would have
we're
been a great
talking-
one for this week.
I don't think they were the original.
1970. We're talking about.
Were you
Is that the
alive
same
then?
song?
Were you? Yeah,
I was
you
born
were about
69.
Yeah, so you're a
I don't
couple
think
years
they
old.
did the original. I
I
think
was
it was
11.
Traffic. Didn't Traffic do the original?
I'm
Who did I send you? I sent you the original. It was a group. I thought it.
Elon Musk. I mean, who would have thought that he would have invented that was his first band. Did you know that? He was a producer of that band.
No, I
Tesla.
I don't. I think you made that up.
Fake news.
That's so fake news. I'm sitting here thinking that one through, and that didn't come around. That didn't come out right.
It was 71, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah,
Who was the group?
The 5-man electrical
That's
band.
a 5-man electrical.
5 Man Electrical Band.
So,
I thought they were doing Vegas show, or is that Blue Man Group? I can't remember. I can't remember.
oh man. Well, construction zone, and not only do we need to slow down, of course, but anytime you see an orange sign, it's usually a warning to slow down, right? Whether it's construction, whether it's a alternate lane pattern, but orange is just always caution. And so even if I can't read the sign, I can tell by the color that I need to slow down. So, hey, when you see these, let's slow down in construction. We're going to see some today where, from when I zoomed in, the speed limit did look like it was right, but it's okay to slow down more because it still felt like, according to the video, that we went a little fast with people working. But we are at 10 days without a preventable accident.
Nice job.
And 25 without a backing.
That's really good.
Good job, everybody. We need to continue to get out and look and keep our speeds going down. I've seen a lot of videos today that had decent speed, which was nice. I mean, there's still the videos and they're catching stuff, but our speed is slowed way down. And again, it's going to show that, we talk about one video, we'll show about the 6 to 7 seconds, but we were doing like 51, something like that, and we still couldn't stop. Mm-hmm. And so it's just one of the things, hey, you still got to get the big picture and put all the other things together with that speed management.
Hey, Dylan, do me a favor. Throw my spreadsheet up there and do the one with everything with the complete one. There you go. All right. Hey, when y'all are seeing this right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and just stand up here for a second. All right. So when we're looking at this video right now, you can see right here all of these cities that are in here. And what this is, what we're seeing right now are our hard brakes. So these are the hard brakes that we're having right now. That's occurring right now. Let me get out of the way here. All right, these are the hard brakes that we're having. The sudden decelerations occurring all over the place, okay? And I just wanted you to see these. These go back from today until I think it was like 45 days ago. It's as far as I can get that data from. So I want you to see that. Now I'm going to show you this. Okay, you see this right here? And I know y'all are seeing the screen right now. All these blanks that are here right now. All of these blanks that we have right now, those, if we slow down in the city, if we slow down in the big cities, these are the ones that we're seeing that are going away. So all of these right now with the blanks, those were the big cities. That was Dallas. That was Grand Prairie. That was Oklahoma City. Those are those big cities that we're talking about slowing down in. They go away. So over half of our hard brakes occurred in big cities. The videos that Bob showed today are the same thing. They occurred in Dallas, in Grand Prairie. They occurred in the big cities, the sudden decelerations. And again, it goes to that point. What we're saying is that when you get inside the city, you have to slow down. Yep. You just do every time. I mean, it doesn't matter if the traffic is clean or just slow down. It normally has a slower speed limit in there, but many times in some of the cities it just stays the same. Yeah. You though have to slow down because traffic's going to get congested. You're going to go across the overpass was in Dallas. Yep. Okay, and these weren't local drivers either. Okay, no. These are drivers that may be probably coming here to drop and hook and get back out. We've got to remember that when we go through the big city, we must slow down. Not just at the delivery, Atlanta, Georgia is big time on there. When you look at this list, it's all over the place. So all of these blanks right now that we see on these are all were the big city ones. It's something we just have to think about when we get inside of Fort Worth, Keller, the racetrack, Hutchins, you have to slow down. Waxahachie, you have to slow down.
Yeah, I think any of the counties that surround the Metroplex, you can't, to Collin County, Denton County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, those are just packed counties. They're just packed with people.
Denton, Texas, you have to slow down.
You have to because it's crazy. And it's 380 and 35. Two 35s come together in Denton. So, I mean, you've got a lot of traffic, and you're going to continue to have traffic. I know everybody that's raced on 35 and up and down 35 as you've moved, it doesn't get pretty all the way to Laredo. I mean, it's you got San Antonio, you got Austin, you got Fort Worth, you got Dallas, you got Denton, and it just is a congested mess. And it's going to stay that way. And you just got to make sure that when you get around traffic and you get into these cities, just slow down, back off, like Rick said, back off. 10 miles an hour for 20 miles won't make that much difference. It won't make that much difference. It won't make that much difference, especially if you're going to run 600 today. I promise you 20 minutes won't make that much difference.
No, that's a great point. I always think we think wrong, and I know I do, because you get into big cities and you see extra lanes. Okay, I can go faster. And that's usually just the opposite. Extra lanes means there's a lot more traffic. That's why they built that extra lane. So it really should be a thing to slow down. But in my head, it was always, hey, I got an extra lane to move, so all the slow traffic's going to be over here out of my way, and it's just not true.
The thing is that somewhere on that highway, it's going to slow down.
Yes.
Somewhere on that highway, it's going to bottleneck. Somewhere on that highway, somebody going the other way had an accident. Somebody going the other way has a disabled vehicle. Somebody coming the other way is walking down the road.
And they'll just rubberneck.
With the rubberneck occurs, the brakes happen, and when you're in the truck, it's hard to stop in a car.
Absolutely.
And most of the accidents are by vehicles by rubbernecking. We've got to slow down in the big city.
Right.
We got anybody out there with questions, comments, dedications? All right, we hear somebody. Hold on one second.
Zayad, what do you have for us?
What's going on, Z? How about you, Zayad? Can you hear us?
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, I wasn't used to automatic trucks like some of the rest of the guys. It's like my third time probably driving an automatic, so my braking kind of was off when I first got in the truck. But I noticed if you put your gotta cut your cruise control off in those big cities, because the truck will take off without you really knowing in the traffic jam, you know. Hello?
Yes, sir. We're hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, the truck will take off in the traffic jam. Before you know it, you got to mash on the brakes hard to stop.
Yeah, good point on that. It's that cruise, right, Jay? It's going to keep up with the vehicle in front of you. So if you have that cruise, while it will slow down, when the traffic starts picking up, it's going to start cruising right up. It's going to gain that speed back.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Yeah, it's supposed to release once you touch the brake, though. The cruise is supposed to cut off, but yeah, it's going to stay there. It's going to stay on that adaptive cruise. It's going to mirror that vehicle speed in front of you. But what we're saying is, when you get into these traffic situations, just as you encounter inclement weather, just as you want to get off the cruise, right? You want to get out. When you get into those high traffic situations, you want to be in a more reactive stance and not so much in a relaxed stance. Because I personally think that the cruise is a great way to travel and to relax your leg, relax your foot, and not be pressured on it, and mirror the vehicle in front of you and do what you have to do. But when you get into these difficult situations, especially the cities, especially the inclement weather, rain, snow, you don't want to be on cruise. You want to be in a more reactive mode.
All right. Thank you, Z. Anybody else?
Walt, what do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, I got a couple things. First one is on that phrase that pays. What it means to me this week is somebody wasn't thinking real clear whenever they put that thing together. The second thing is one guy that was closest to the lane was all bent over and everything working there. Whenever he goes stand, you don't know what's on the ground there next to him. He may trip over that thing, fall back in the lane. You know, I mean, you got to be ready for that kind of stuff, because I've seen it more times than I can count out there. People tripping, falling, lose their balance when they go to stand up, whatever. So, you got to expect those guys to fall out in the lane in front of you.
Work zone Walt. Yeah, you're
We just got to slow down.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, Walt. They're working on an uneven surface in those construction zones. They're not working on a flat road. They're working. There's rebar sticking out.
Yeah.
They're pouring concrete. They're got gravel, loose dirt. So they're working in an unsafe. They're already working on an uneven environment. Not like just walking across the parking lot, which you can fall. I know I can. I can trip over my own shoes. But they're working in a difficult environment with their arms full or with their hands doing doing something and they're it's difficult to watch where you're going. So you got to be mindful of them. You got to be careful. You got to watch out for them. You got to be that person that takes care of them out there on the road, because they need to be taken care of too. Their life is absolutely primary when you're out there on the road. You've got to make sure that, in all those flashing lights, especially when you were entering into that work zone that we looked at, typically when there's that many emergency lights flying and that many lights going on, and you got the scorpions out on the road, when you've got those scorpions out and all those lights, there's workers out there. So it's time to slow down. They don't have all that emergency. They don't have that much visibility when nobody's there, right? Somebody's manning those trucks. Somebody's got them out there. And the reason they got them out there is because there's guys out there on the road working. And you've got to make sure that, there's a lot of lights, right? Did you see that video? There was, I counted, I think, 7 vehicles with emergency lights running at the time. And when you've got that many out there, that means there's bodies out there on the road working to make me safe. So slow down.
All right, we got 2 more out there. Who do we got?
Alan Arnold, what do you have for us this morning?
Morning, Mr. Allen.
Hey, good morning, y'all. I'm up here on the PA Turnpike 76, and started my day at 8, maybe 5 minutes after I got on the road. Bad ice storm. And I'm not going to pull over on the side, one of them white spots, because what if I pull over there and, the road's slick, somebody's not paying attention, they come around, and then they hit us. We're still at fault. So we got to take that into consideration, too, when we're in bad weather, of where we park. But I'm only doing about 50, and I'm trying to get out of this. I'm in the tunnels right now, so if I lose you.
All right, well, stay safe out there. And if it's iced up, Alan, that's the time too. Maybe we just, you don't feel like you got to get on here and talk to us as well when it's that bad. We want you to be safe, and I agree with you. We want to get to that next exit. I think, Buckle Up, you said that today. Hey, when we're in that, you're going that slow, you find yourself decelerating that much, when it's time to get off the road. Yeah. Okay, and that doesn't mean on the shoulder. That means find an exit if you can. And, if you can find an exit, that's always the best and safest means to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Jeffrey Marsh, what do you have for us this morning?
Mr. Marsh.
Good morning. I got a couple things. First, when you're in construction, there's a lot of people around, especially around those machines that lay the asphalt. There's going to be a lot of workers around that, because when they lay the asphalt and everything. So what I do is when I go by them, I go to a crawl. I actually crawl past them, so that way, if somebody falls out or something like that, I have I'm already almost to a stop, so it ain't gonna make much for me to stop everything. Second thing is, I want to shout out to Sarah. I picked up a load yesterday at Athens, Tennessee, at Mayfield, and I got there in time to be loaded. But there was a truck. They only use one dock, and there's not much room in that area, and there was a truck in that dock, and so I was waiting, and right next to our docks is docks for the tankers to bring the milk in, and so one of the workers over there come up to me, chewed me out for sitting in front of their docks and everything. He says I was stopping production or something. In other words, he said, you're supposed to go up the hill and check in, and then let you know whenever this dock's free and everything. So I was like, well, I've been here several times, and I've never had that. Was never told that. And so I had to back out of there, and one guy spotted me out of there. He stopped traffic and spotted me out of there, and then I went around the block, went into that other area, went down, and I talked to one of the yard dogs, and he's like, man, he don't know what he's talking about. He said he's in a different area. He said, you just go up there, and if the dock is free, then you go in there and check in and everything. I said, that's what I thought, and that's what I've been doing and everything. But this guy, he said he don't know what he's talking about. And so so he said, just back up there, and he said, when that dock gets free, I'll come and let you know. Okay, so I was started doing some stuff on my phone and everything, and I kept watching him walk. I kept watching him do his little work and everything. Then he pulled up by the building and went inside, and I never seen him again. I'm like, what? So I was getting worried because it's after 3 o'clock, and they don't usually load after 3 o'clock. and I'm like getting worried and everything. And so I go on over there, and that dock's empty, and I'm like, so I pull up there, and this one guy comes out. And he says, "Are you here to pick up?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I think he's already gone." And I'm like, "What?" And so I go in there, or he goes in there and he checks, and he comes back and he says, "Yeah, I don't see nobody in the office. He's already gone." I'm like, "Crap, what am I going to do now?" So when he came back and told me that he was gone, I had Gabby on the phone, telling her, and she goes, are they not going to load you? I said, "No." And I said, "Let me get back to my truck," because I didn't have my Bluetooth with me. I said, "Let me get back to my truck and I'll explain to you." So I got back to my truck and explained to her. She said, let me get a hold of Sarah, because she's about to take off, because it was close to her being off and everything. So she said, "Let me get a hold of Sarah." Well, this other guy came up, one of the little bobtail drivers that I guess they take stuff from around there from building to building or whatever. So he went in there. He says, "No, he's already gone." And I guess he'd called him while he was in there. He said, "I just got off the phone." He said, "Make sure that you're here at 6 o'clock in the morning, and make sure you have 2 load locks and 3/4 of tank." And I said, "Yeah, I've got both of those." And he says, "I don't see any problem with you just backing up to that dock." And so I was like, well, I was getting relaxed and everything, because I thought I was going to be there for the night. Well, a little after 4 o'clock our time, Sean called me. He says, "Don't go anywhere." He says, "Sarah's going to call him." Well, after Sarah called him, probably about 10, 15 minutes later, the guy comes out. He says, "What's your pickup number?" I said, told him. And he says, "Okay." He says, "Give me a minute and I'll have you loaded." So I got out there and opened doors and backed it up in there, and he got me loaded, and I was out of there. So I want to thank Sarah for getting on them to get me loaded.
Hey, thank you very much, Jeffrey. And hey, that's a shout out. So listen, our CSRs, and that's what Sarah is. She's a CSR for the Armada, McDonald's, all that business right there. Man, when they could get this information, they are going to fight for you all day. They know it. They're not going to go home, or if she's going home, she's going to get on her Bluetooth. She's going to call the shipper. She's going to call McDonald's. She's going to call somebody to let them know what's going on, to make things happen. The communication is so key, from you to our DM to our CSR, eventually back to our customer. That's the importance of that C in BCB, the communication. Hey, Jeffrey, hey, thank you for giving us a shout out. I'll make sure she knows it. I see her out there. She's probably listening right now. She may even have a tear coming out right now, Jeffrey, because, as customer service reps, sometimes they only hear the bad. They don't hear the good. Thank you very much. Who else we got out there?
Michael Jones, what do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the very first video. I believe that was me, Bob. I was on 58 coming up, and then as I started up the Hatchby Mountain here, where I'm at now. I've been since yesterday.
That's good.
The wind and snow it picked up like it came out of nowhere, and coming from Barstow, it was nice and clear, maybe a few little showers and stuff there. And when I got up here and I got to this Love's, I knew this Love's was up here at exit 151 here in Tehachapi, and that's where I pulled off at, and that's where I've been ever since. So
great job, Michael. Yeah, because it sometimes it can. That's what we try to. As Sir Rick said earlier, we set them geofences like 60 to 100 miles outside of where the weather's supposed to be, so that hopefully you get an opportunity, at least an hour, to find a place, because you're heading into it, just in case.
Absolutely. And hey, Mike, remember, Tehachapi does sometimes require change, and if it does, don't just hold out and wait, because I don't want you to run down to Tehachapi towards Bakersfield without knowing for sure that you're clear and good to go.
And also appreciate the knowledge of knowing your area, knowing where you have a truck stop at.
Absolutely.
That's all part of that pre-plan. I know we've talked about it, but that's part of that pre-plan, making sure you know what's ahead of you. I think David Krause will say, have 2 or 3 spots picked out just in case. You knew where it was. You're there. Hey, hopefully you got some of that fresh fruit that Love's has, right? You got the fresh fruit. Hopefully something else other than Subway.
Grab and go.
Open. Grab and go. Yeah, you're going to grab and stay. You weren't going anywhere. But hey, thank you for that, Michael. Who else we got, producer?
Jesse Swain, what do you have for us this morning?
Good morning, Jesse.
That video there that you showed there, that motorcycle in there.
Yeah.
I watched that cockroach out of my side mirror and everything. He was weaving in between traffic and everything. And I knew when he got up there, he was fixing to come over towards in front of me. He did. He crossed over 3 lanes to go to an exit there. And I was keeping an eye on him because them dudes scares the heck out of me. I've had them things to do wheelies between me and another 18-wheeler and everything. And they just scared the hell out of me because them guys just get crazy on them daggum things.
Thank you, Jesse. Hey, great job. Way to look out and see what's going on out there. Drive Safe Dave, he was one of them. He was one of those guys that rode the Kawasaki's and little crotch rockets, right? Drive Safe?
I did have one.
Did you race them for titles?
No, we did. But I did drive too fast at 19 years old on an intercept. Did drive too fast, yes.
Did you do a wheelie on the interstate? Yes. Okay.
No.
I don't know. I think the pause.
I saw your head nod, and you're like, yeah, no.
They may take my name away from me.
Yeah, I deny some of the things that I did in my teenage years. Here I am in my 50s, but yeah, it wasn't some of the stuff you do when you're younger. You're a little invincible, right? You think you're invincible, and some of them. I'm just going to tell you that I would say the majority, just like everybody else, the majority of the people that ride motorcycles are good riders. Yes. Yeah, they follow the rules. They follow the rules, and I just don't want everybody to assume that a few bad apples spoil the whole bunch, and because there are a lot of motorcyclists out there that do a great job or care about what's going on the road, take care of each other. And most motorcyclists watch out for other motorcyclists. They wave, they make sure that each other is doing what they need to do. And those few guys out on those crotch rockets and doing those things, they're not out there for the right reasons. They're out there to create havoc. And you just got to make sure that you're aware of those situations.
It's like he just cleansed his soul.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm coming clean. You know what? Forgive me for what I did.
Yeah, I didn't. There was a time when I drove too fast. Yes, sir.
Anybody else out there? Oh, we are good to go. Hey, great job today. Thank you for bringing this up. Great conversations once again. You know, when it comes to safety, it's your job, it's our job, it's all of us. And it's amazing, to where if you think about it, a lot of companies, and maybe we were one of them, we were probably one of them, we threw so much of it on you and said, hey, you guys have got to not run illegal. You've got to drive safe. And it's really turned into, hey, it's a we thing. We've got to give you better information. We want to give you better information to help you make better decisions out there on the road. We talk about the big cities, and we want you to make sure that you recognize the big city. And a big city, again, it can be Wichita, Kansas. Absolutely. It can be Little Rock, Arkansas. It's coming when you're getting to that area that you have to slow down. The cities. Make sure you're doing that, okay? Make sure you recognize it and you just slow down. It's going to give you more reaction time. Absolutely. We saw where 5.1 seconds may not have been enough time. Even at a slower speed, it wasn't enough time. And sometimes when your safe route, your safe zone is to the right, we saw 2 videos where there was a car there. There's a disabled car on one of them.
Absolutely.
And then there was somebody else moving to the right as well as a safe area. I'm saying we don't know what's going on sometimes. So we got to make sure we slow down to get the big picture. Hey, continue to do what you can. It's scary out there. What y'all do, we say it, but we mean it. Man, it's amazing. It's amazing that y'all are putting together 700,000 miles a day, and this is what we see. That tells us that how many good decisions, how many great habits y'all have. It's amazing. And what we want to do is not look at these things and we're not pointing fingers. We want to make sure that you see what's going on the road, that you see some of the conditions that we're driving, or you see some of the things that we're doing, and that you can learn from that to not allow yourself to get in that same situation. Thank you very much for focusing on the safety of this company. Hey, it's be safe, communicate. If you can't be on time, be safe. By far the most important thing you can ever do here. Again, if you're 1 day here, 5 days, 5 years, it's the same thing. It's about safety, protecting life. Thank you for what you do. Drive safe, Dave. It is time for
HR.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Doing great, Miss Christie. I hope everything's going well with you.
Everything is great. Thanks very much. The sun's out. Hopefully it'll stay that way for a while. It's always so gloomy when the sun's not out. So that always helps, I think, raise everyone's spirits. Today, just want to bring up, you should have on Monday afternoons, you should be receiving your settlement sheets via email. If for some reason you're not receiving those, please give me a call at extension 168 so I can check your email, make sure that we have that correct. But those do go out on Monday afternoons. Please be sure that you are reviewing them just as soon as you possibly can. If there are any problems, please email payroll.requests, and that does have an S at the end of it, at bcbtransport.com. Again, that's payroll.requests at bcbtransport.com. Or you can contact your DM, but just as soon as you have those issues, send those over so that they can be looking into that, so we can try and get that resolved before payroll is submitted that week. I do like to have that completed by Wednesdays if at all possible. If you have any questions, again, please, you can call me at extension 168 or contact Shelly at 146. We're happy to check your email address and make sure that you are receiving those. And today we have a birthday for Teresa Rogers. Happy birthday.
Right. Happy birthday to you, Teresa Rogers, another one of our CSRs. Happy birthday, Teresa.
And everyone, please continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, use that antibacterial. Bath and Body Works has come out with some new scents for anyone that likes it to smell a little bit better. And just stay healthy. Thank you,
Christy. Hey, a question for you before you leave. So if one of our drivers is, they're driving right now and they want that payroll requests with an S at the end at bcbtransport.com. Can they go to our website and just click the button to submit a request or submit an email to it? Do they have to spell that whole word out? Or is there a shortcut somewhere to help them out as well?
I honestly don't know if that's on our website, but I will definitely check and answer that for sure tomorrow, because that would be great for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, if they can drive that way, they can drive themselves to the website. And even for an example, I mean, they may be able to go to the website and we can create, a form where they just fill it out right there, the request online, and it goes to our payroll department automatically, straight from the website as well. So just other ways that we can do things to try to make their life a little easier on the road, where they don't have to try to remember and do it all. And hopefully they don't have any payroll requests with an S at the end issues. But if you do, make sure you email payroll requests at bcbtransport.com.
Are you going to continue to do that? That sounds like you have an issue with your braces or something.
Well, it's our email address, requests. I mean, say it. It's hard to say.
Requests.
I didn't hear the S.
Sounds like Rich got a list.
It does. It does.
I'm just trying to make sure y'all hear the S, requests at bcbtransport.com. Thank you. All right. It is time for Mr. Hector. Hector, come on in with your look at you looking sharp in your blue sweater. Is that baby blue? You want to drive? Oh, look at, we all got blue on.
Wow. I didn't know. I guess I got the memo today.
It's not Blue Monday. It's Blue Tuesday.
It's Blue Tuesday. Wow. Blue Tuesday.
What's going on with you, sir?
Not too much. How are y'all doing today?
You know
Blue
what?
Man Group
doing
right
well.
Hey, wow. Blue Man Group. I like that. Hey, so I don't know if you saw on Facebook where a lot of people commented about you wearing your safety vest everywhere and upsetting your daughter and, irritating your daughters everywhere you go. So if you want to know a guy that's committed to safety, this guy right here with his vest every day, going out to restaurants and, wherever
he will wear the vest at a restaurant.
He will.
Yeah, I walked out. So I took my daughter driving on Monday and we walked out of, and on the way, probably another fault of mine. Well, let's go through this. Make sure you know how to go to park at a restaurant. So we go to Costa Vida or whatever, and we go in there and get something quick to eat. We go back out there, and one of Kirsten's senior friends is driving through the drive-thru, and she rolls her window down. She goes, "Hey!" And we go over there, and she goes, "What's up with the vest?" And Katie was like, "I know. I tell them that all the time. Why you got to wear the vest?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm setting this trend.
Hey,
it's about safety."
It's all about safety.
Whatever.
Safety number one. So yeah, if you want to. If you want to see somebody that's all about the vest, it'll be Rick. He's out there in the community wearing the vest and having people, ask questions about safety, which, hey, that's the point, right?
That is
get the attention of safety.
To get safety out there. That's what we are. We're a safe company, and we want to make sure, again, I feel it is really part of my calling, my duty to talk about safety outside of work as well. And know what better way to start it when somebody says, "What's going on with that, dude? Are you working the school zone today?" You know,
got some aircraft coming in. Get you some of those flashlights. Get the aircraft coming in.
Those are considered wands, sir.
Yes.
For
Okay,
those
I'm
that are in
sorry.
the airport.
Sorry.
You know what? He doesn't know
understand
that part like
airplane.
we
No,
did.
Pardon me. Pardon me.
No. Stay in your zone.
Okay.
Stay in your zone.
All right.
Stay in your
I'm
friend
in.
zone. I hear
So
you.
what's going on in your world of safety, sir?
You know, there's a lot of things. I was yesterday. I was very, and we're going to talk about the thing we're going to talk about is leave yourself an out today, because I was really taken back by that ambulance that fell off the flatbed yesterday.
Hey, while you're doing that, do me a favor, producer. Key up FreightWaves if you can. And so FreightWaves is they're known for probably they are by far the greatest news source when it comes to transportation and all sorts of news. You know, BCB Live #2 probably. Right. You know, close second.
I was going to say 1A, 1B. That's what I was
but
thinking.
If you can go and yesterday. And so, you know, we've been on their show a couple times. As a matter of fact, I'll be on there Saturday at 4 o'clock or 4:30. Hopefully I got a reminder in my thing. I'll be there Saturday talking again, but I'll send certain things to them. They had our clip of the ambulance on their show, and it opened up their show yesterday. So it was on there for a good 5 to 6 minute conversation regarding our truck, and it made their LinkedIn page as well. Wow. Tons of comments on there. So it was good to see. Is this it? So here it is right here. So this is their show yesterday, and it made their show where they were talking about it. They were going over everything about it. They were talking about it. They were reading the comments from their listeners. They had people calling in. So hey, we made that show, which isn't exactly ABC or Fox or anything like that, CNN, but it is FreightWaves, the leader in transportation news, made the opening thing on that. Again, you know, when we're talking on Saturday, it's going to be about distractions. It's going to be about safe driving. It's going to be about things like this that y'all run into all the time.
I think Tim said this video got 500,000 hits.
Yep.
500,000, half a million hits already. And it's still growing, and that's just in different sources. So that's a lot of hits, and it came straight from BCB Live,
straight from from us, from our driver. Again, when you submit it, when we share safety, and when we see these things, safety is it's not just for BCB. When we have items like this that we can take and share with the world, you know, we take it to a FreightWaves who's got a much bigger audience than what we have, and then all of a sudden the views come and they look at it. But you know what? The more people that look at it, the more they start, like I said yesterday, I saw an ambulance on the road, and it made me think twice.
You looked for a driver.
Yes, because it was going down the road. We saw it.
And it's funny that you say that, because when we see videos like that, when you see things that happen, it does make you think, because now, you know, when I drive along a flatbed, the first thing I'm thinking is, man, did that dude do his safety checks? Does he have his straps on tight? There's so many things that go through your mind when you see something like that, and you're more apt to get away from that and try to be get yourself in a position where you expect the unexpected, which is what we'll talk about here in just a second. But it's so incredible that, number one, our driver was able to avert danger and get out of the way, and just, and more than that, it's just incredible that no one got hurt.
Yep,
I mean,
no doubt about
an
it.
ambulance got destroyed. Okay, that's the biggest thing. But the bottom line is, nobody was injured, and thank God, that was just a blessing that nobody got hit by a runaway ambulance. It's unbelievable.
It is absolutely, and can they see this right now? So if you're looking online right now, this is what we're talking about. It's FreightWaves, a great news source to do. It's What the Truck, though, is a segment that these folks have. You're good, don't worry about it. What the Truck is a segment, and again, I'll promote them because they're talking about transportation, much like we do. What the Truck, I can imagine it's a pretty cool name. I mean, what the truck? Just can imagine.
They sound like say
what? But here it is. This
they
is
even
the
have
folks
a
right
meme.
here.
They even have a Bernie Sanders meme.
We're working on that ourselves. Now that they have it, it takes it out. It's not. We don't want it now. We don't want to be the followers.
He's got a pretty cool beard there.
Hector, you can kind of do that right now. Just go. You go.
Or is it the other way? Okay, you got me.
All right, keep going, Hector.
So anyway, the two things that I want to discuss. Number one is communication. Today on the videos, we saw a lot of videos as far as people running into weather. This is the time of the year where we've got snow, ice, The dust storm, which is kind of weird to me. We had a tornado in Alabama last night, and I know we had some drivers in that area, which is very concerning. But I think the most important thing, and the thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about, is communication. You have, and granted, a lot of us do a really good job of communicating. A lot of drivers are sending in the driver tech messages or calling in. But I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. You should be communicating with your DM, with the office, with the night dispatch. If you see something that's not right, if there's something out there that's just not what should be happening, whether it's an accident on the road, or because we get a lot of phone calls with guys saying, hey, I-80 is closed down for whatever reason, and we try to get that information out to the drivers via driver tech. If, like I said, the weather's not good. This morning I got 2 phone calls, guys saying, hey, look, it snowed 6 inches last night. I don't feel good driving. Those are the kind of things that we need to know, so that we not only communicate with the folks in the office, the CSRs, but we also communicate with our customers to make sure that they understand that, hey, we're in a situation that is not safe. And I will promise you, our customers are more willing and apt to understand that, hey, safety is the number one thing. And when they understand that our number one goal is to protect life and to be safe, we're okay with being late. We're okay with being, having to shut down for that. So I cannot stress enough how important it is that you, as a driver, are talking with us. And in the same way, we're trying to communicate with y'all. So, we're going to be sending messages. We're going to try to make sure that you guys are aware of the loads. So, if you don't understand what we're trying to communicate to you, if you don't understand what we're trying to say to you, let us know. Let us know. That way we can make sure that we're on the same page, because there's nothing worse than a miscommunication when it's very simple. Maybe something wasn't said right, or whatever the issue is. The communication has to happen between the office and you, whether it's our customer service reps or Rick or Brian, anybody here in the office. We got to communicate. So what I was going to do is and again, that ambulance really threw me for a loop. I was going to talk about leaving yourself an out. That's part of our Smith driving system. It's number 4. So we talked about, if you look at the video, the safest position for that driver was an area where he had little or no traffic. Now, if you look at the video, you see the driver was in the right lane. He had plenty of space between the car in front of him, which was an excellent job. And I think it was Donald Scott that did that yesterday. It was excellent job by Donald Scott. Good spacing. He had space around his vehicle, no problems. So he surrounded himself with a lot of space, which is the most important thing in leaving yourself an out. He chose a great lane, which allowed him to, use his speed the way he needed to, which allowed him to make whatever adjustments that he had to. More than that, though, he kept everything in front of him was just in front of him where he could see what was coming, what was going on. So he didn't tailgate. He had just perfect space. And that's part of leaving yourself an out, where you have the option. And Drive Safe Davis talked about the most important space that you have is in front of you. You're not necessarily worried about what's going on behind you, or, in that situation, what's going on the sides, but you're going to keep your eyes open by checking your mirrors. But the bottom line is the most important space that you have is in front of you. So, in this case, that ambulance fell off. Donald was able to make that decision to step on the brakes, and he was able to be prepared for the unexpected. And that is very unexpected. That was something that in a million years, I would have never thought something like that would have happened. But now we're aware of those things that can happen on the road, and the things that Bob continues to talk about. He always says, hey man, we have got to back up space, because you don't know what's going to be happening in front of the truck in front of you. You don't know what's going to be happening. If you can't see the in front of the guy in front of you, you have to be prepared, because the unexpected, and that video shows it, will always happen. Yep. Will always happen. So again, leave yourself an out. Always be prepared for the unexpected. That's what I'm going to leave you with today.
Hey, so great points. And yes, and even on going to the Donald, just great awareness, mm-hmm. right? Great, get the big picture.
Right.
He saw it all, had the spacing in there. And I will say this, some kudos to you out there doing the driving. What we haven't seen, and again, I'm not saying in the last week, the last month, but in the last couple of days, I'll say we haven't seen a lot of trucks on top of trucks, us following too close like that. So great job on that. Great job on recognizing those situations and backing out of those. We haven't seen as many. I'm not saying they're not out there, but definitely we've seen a decline in us following too close where we can't see what's going on in front of the truck.
Right.
And I think you said that, and we have to recognize and realize that when you don't know what's going on in front of you, that should be scary. That should be your first thing to back off, to slow down, because you don't know what's going to happen. And when you see the motorcycles, you know, some of those guys that were driving, we know it's not everybody. When you see the cars darting out in front of people, when you see people walking up and down the highway, construction zones, people working right there next to you, if you can't see what's going on there, you must slow down back so you can get the big picture.
Right.
And sometimes that spacing, most of the time, probably all the time, that spacing creates the big picture.
I mean, you can, you know, and again, preparing for the unexpected. I mean, and remember the video with the Ferraris driving around our trucks at, 100 miles an hour, or whatever. I mean, that right there should signal to you that you should slow down, because you just never know if one of those guys are going to catch the front end of another vehicle. I mean, and I mean, it's so out of the blue. It may or may not happen, or may or may not happen. But those are the things that we need to be expected. We need to make sure that we're looking for, because I promise you, when you don't think it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yep.
It's going to happen. So we need to be prepared for that. And that's the one thing I will say this: the videos have gotten a lot better, better from the last couple of months to, where Bob's talking about, hey, look at this, see how we're not making the space. I think the spacing is coming.
It's exciting to see that, the spacing really is getting there, that we recognize that. And now, we continue to talk about the spacing, but now we're into the next area of the spacing. Well, the spacing issues that's coming today, the sudden decelerations, the following too close, so they're still occurring in the big city, the city. And that's where, again, we just want you to recognize that when you're in the city, slow down, okay? You all continue to improve on your skill. Hey, kudos to you. Great job for what you're doing out there. It really is. We see it because now we're able to move on to the big city stuff.
Right.
We couldn't have talked about what I talked about today. We weren't there to talk about that a year ago. It was a problem a year ago. We just had other problems we had to talk to and address with. It wasn't time for that.
Right.
And here we are today. With you, continue to make the improvements. With us on the backside, continue to get better also in giving you better information, taking some of that ownership and putting it on ourselves. Now we can talk about other things. And you know what? And it's all set up to make us the safest trucking company in America. God bless you for what you're doing out there. Hey, we're going to close the show. We're going to close it with a prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for this day you've given us. Man, how lucky are we to have you on our side? And Lord, if we don't tell you that enough, I want you to hear me right now. Thank you for looking out for us. Thank you for being there for us all the time. Help us recognize that you're there, and sometimes we just have to call on you. All the time we have to call on you, and it's so hard to remember. And Lord, just ask you to put somebody in our mind, to put a situation in our mind, to remind us that we go to you for anything and everything. And we go to you today for wisdom on all of us, to be with our customers for success, to be with us for success, to be with our drivers for safety and success. Lord, we want you to take care of their families right now as they're on the road. Be with our drivers as they're on the road. Some of them sitting in snow, driving through snow, wind, rain, all of that. Ease their mind, ease their conscience. Help them be safe, Lord. And be with the drivers on the road as well, and them four-wheelers, to help them do the same thing. Thank you so much for looking out for us. And Lord, we ask you to be with all of those that have family that are sick right now, that are sick themselves right now, that have lost a loved one. Be with them and stay with them and remind them again through one of us that, hey, you have a Father up above that you can always call on. Bless us, Lord. Help us be the people we need to be. Help us be the examples we need to be to others. Help us have the courage to do the right thing, the courage to do the safe thing, the courage to be the people that you calling us to be. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Y'all be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.